Leaders of Maine's largest city decide to freeze any new construction in an area fishermen have depended on for generations. In a unanimous vote last night, Portland City Council passed a 6-month moratorium and announced plans to create a task force. Good evening, everyone. I'm Lindsay Mills.
And I'm Lee Goldberg. This all comes as the latest development in Maine's waterfront woes, which is a story that we've been following now for months on our program. Fishermen are saying that they've been losing their precious workspace as more plans for condos and hotels roll out. Today, they say the city is finally beginning to address their concerns.
It's a problem for what used to be Commercial Street, right? It's clogged with tourists now.
Paul Fisher is a Portland fisherman who works out of Union Wharf. He says the wharf's owner is responsible when it comes to finding ways to generate revenue while respecting those who spend most days on the water, even this time of year.
He looks out for the working waterfront.
But many felt their concerns weren't being heard, so fishermen and supporters formed what's called the Working Waterfront Group. In September, members sent a letter to City Council with the idea of a moratorium to stop new permits from being issued or reviewed. Monday night, councilors voted on a 6-month moratorium.
It is unanimous.
And it passed.
We need to make sure that those who pilot the boats are being heard and understood. Their livelihood is at stake, and their livelihood matters for our livelihood.
Portland's Mayor Ethan Strimling says it's an opportunity to press pause and invite fishermen to the table. He says a task force has formed and the first meeting could happen as early as next week. Any projects already underway will continue. And the Working Waterfront Group is still gathering signatures for a referendum, which would do more than block new permits. It would change the waterfront zoning.
I get it. Everybody loves the city, you know what I mean? But it's causing congestion in an area that's used to be a working area, and it still is.
And concerns remain regarding traffic on Commercial Street, especially during the summer where Maine's fresh seafood is transported from. Mayor Strimling says the city is working to address that and more in a study that's currently underway.
The fishing and the industry just makes you think of summer because that's, the big season for fishermen. Yeah. Well, today, not summer-like, unless you're an ice fisherman. It would be a great day for you. Keith,
it was cold on the water.
Tell me about this warm-up that's coming. I mean, I want some sunscreen. I want the beach.
Well,
talk to me.
You're not getting the sun. You're getting the warmth. Lindsay, by the way, my favorite part of that image you had of going down Commercial Street is that you stopped for the pedestrian in the crosswalk.
I know, you got to be careful for people.
Which is normally not how it goes, I can tell you from experience. Or maybe they recognize me and decide to keep going. Oh, she wasn't driving. I'll give her credit anyways. All right, it's in the 20s right now, teens in the mountains, but the real chill to the air today has been the winds. They've been very, very gusty, gusting at 22 miles an hour right now in Portland, 33 in Bangor, 36 in Millinocket. A lot of us gusted up to 40 miles an hour in the middle of the day. So that knocked your feels-like temperature, your wind chill down into the single digits in most spots, and in some cases below zero. So that's what's really made it kind of nasty through the day today. The winds will settle later tonight, but it will be cold. Temperatures dropping into the single digits in the mountains, teens along the immediate coastline. Tomorrow we moderate a bit. We'll call it mostly sunny. Temperatures right around freezing for a high in the afternoon, so not mild, but a lot better than today. And then we get even warmer. I like the way Thursday looks, actually, because we'll see sunshine, temperatures getting to around 40 degrees by Thursday afternoon. That sets the stage for what looks like a pretty big rain event for us on Friday and into Friday night. Guys, this is kind of interesting because in a pattern in which we've been cold and relatively snowy, especially through November, we're about to throw 55 and a rainstorm in the middle of December. So we'll talk about that in a few minutes.
All right, sir. Thank you very much. It's called the silent killer, carbon monoxide, and with the official start of winter just a few days away, the Maine CDC is warning people about the risks for CO poisoning.
Chris Costa spoke with one family who said doctors saved their lives.
Yeah, that's actually the detectors that saved their lives. We know about a lot of the obvious tips. Don't leave your car running in the garage, or only operate your generator outside, at least 20 feet from your home. But now the Maine CDC is issuing more reminders after a high number of people have been poisoned.
But I was surprised when he snapped these pictures, but he took that picture.
Caitlin Morse says she, her husband, and 2 young kids are lucky to be alive.
My kids might have been real sick, or we all could be dead.
You knew something was going on.
Firefighters responded to her Westbrook home just before 1 o'clock Sunday morning. a detector near their furnace beeping.
Sure enough, it was saying carbon monoxide, carbon monoxide, carbon monoxide.
The whole family got out safe, but the levels in their home were higher than normal.
Oh, I kind of thought we were overkill with all the alarms and all the, detectors we have in our house, but we weren't. It was real.
It's gonna make noise.
Firefighters carry gas meters like these to measure levels of the poisonous gas that you can't smell, taste, or see. It can cause flu-like symptoms, including headaches, nausea, and dizziness. The Maine CDC reports 13 people have been poisoned since November 1st, a higher number than normal compared to other winter months.
The dangers are ultimately that it can kill you. For us, it's the exact same thing because we have no way to tell it's there except for a gas meter.
There are a lot of safety tips about preventing carbon monoxide, especially when it comes to generators. But firefighters say it's not just these alternative heat sources that produce this poisonous gas.
Basically, any fossil burning fuel that's being combusted can produce carbon monoxide. So that can be anything from a propane heater to a car engine, to a house furnace, to a generator.
Caitlin credits her husband's work in housing for keeping them aware.
To think that we could have lost our whole family. Our kids would be sick and or they could have died, who knows? It was really scary.
So Caitlin says she wants to get 25 carbon monoxide detectors to families near her that don't already have them. But guys, keep in mind with these detectors, they have to have batteries, even if they're hardwired, because think about it, if the power goes out, what are they relying on? Batteries, and that's one of those common times when people are using generators, so you really want those to be working then. I was talking to Captain Rob Couture. He said that there are also now certain detectors that can send alerts to your smartphone if it's ever been triggered. And the state of Maine back in June actually revamped some rules saying that if a building is sold or transferred within 30 days, hardwired carbon monoxide detectors must be put in.
Wow,
Nice.
very cool.
Nice. You can never have that reminder too many times. So, well done, sir. Thank you very much.
A federal judge postponed sentencing for Michael Flynn after warning he might be incarcerated for lying to the FBI about Russia contacts. He is President Trump's former national security advisor. Flynn faces a maximum punishment of 5 years in prison, 3 years of supervised release, and a $250,000 fine.
The Trump administration is making moves to officially ban bump stocks, which allow semi-automatic weapons to fire rapidly like automatic firearms, and has made them illegal to possess beginning in late March. The devices will be banned under a federal law that prohibits machine guns, according to a senior Justice Department official. People who currently own bump stocks will be required to either surrender them to the ATF or destroy them by late March.
Susan Collins tweeted today she was pleased that the Justice Department will ban these dangerous devices. Charter Spectrum will pay a record $174 million and refund customers in New York $62 million in a settlement over claims it defrauded internet subscribers. The settlement with the New York Attorney General's office is the largest consumer payment by an internet provider in U.S. history. We reached out to Spectrum today, and they say this won't affect Maine customers. The customers will each receive between $75,000 and $150,000, and they also get streaming services and premium channels.
Now here are some reactions from our Facebook page. Tabitha Mason says, "Why only New York? What about us Mainers?" Carrie Fred Brown with a similar comment. It should be all Spectrum customers everywhere. And Paul Hayford with a different take on things, chiming in, not sure what everybody's complaining about. I've had Spectrum internet service for over a year. It's just as fast, if not faster, than they had advertised. I paid the promotional price for the first year, and then it went up to the regular price, and after that, no big deal. Lots of people busy on Snap Maps today.
Yeah, let's get right to it, checking out what's happening in the Snapchat world. Yeah, roof clearing, very important this time of year, especially with that snow that's building up. And this last round of snow, it was really heavy, don't you think?
Wet, heavy, awful. It's the worst kind because it just kills you back. And then we found this person hardly working in Lewiston. I'm assuming things picked up a little later in the day, but clearly some free time on her hands there. And look at that, it just disappears too. It's like magic.
It's like dashboard confessional. Use the dashboard for your tripod and off you go.
There it is.
All right, love Snap Maps. Okay, instead of asking for birthday presents this year, a woman in the Bangor area is collecting a group of items that will help others. We'll tell you what she's gathering.
And how one teenager has overcome a lot in her life, but still manages to give back to everyone around her.
How are you guys? So yeah, detectors is what I meant to say, not doctors.
What's up, David? How are you? Lots of people in on the waterfront story, Lindsay Lou.
Okay, let me take a peek. Let me take a peek. Yeah, that wind was brutal today.
Really looking for a comment from Cal Smith.
Oh, there you go. I don't know. That's a great question. Aren't you friends with him?
No, I think so on Facebook. Maybe?
There you go.
I was sad. I thought I'd hear from him the past week, but no.
Travis says hello. What's up, Christian and Jesse?
Trish says the waterfront needs to be saved. She's supporting the Working Waterfront group.
Deborah invited us over for tacos, so that's good.
Ooh, that sounds good.
She didn't really, but I just said we're doing it.
Oh. Daniel says fishermen should buy up the land about 500 feet away from the waterfront because someday that will be the waterfront and the new development will be underwater. Referencing climate change. And then Trish says too many hotels down there as it is. Yeah, it's definitely something. Jesse says please do protect our waterfront. There is a lot of discussion going around about this, and like I said, that meeting for the new task force could happen as soon as next week, like right after Christmas. They're picking people as we speak. Okay. So yeah, it's just interesting, and that task force is going to be made up of obviously city leaders, obviously fishermen, but then the owners of the wharves and developers as well.
If we don't have Jackie,
yep.
As soon as you say birthday presents this year, skip right to this.
Okay.
Who are they waiting for?
Okay.
And then, yeah.
Good deal.
Does that work for you?
That works for me. Isaac, just give us a heads up if we don't have her.
And you can signal me to pick up the second half of it, or you can just do the whole thing. It's fine, and I can just take the tag.
Okay.
Either way, I'm good with it. Disregard.
But I like having a game plan just in case, a plan B.
Well, I think the doctor really saved us on that one.
The detectors.
Most people probably don't think a lot about where they're going to be getting hygiene products, but some people have a hard time finding the money to buy just the basic necessities.
Yeah, and as we are about to hear, a Bangor area woman is asking for donations of feminine hygienic products instead of birthday presents this year. News Center Maine's Jackie Mundry joins us now with that story. Hi, Jackie.
Hey guys, Tanasha Gilbert, Bangor area woman, had a bunch of feminine hygiene products that she no longer needed. And she did some research, and because they're pretty expensive, she didn't want to just throw them away. So she found that some women that are either homeless or low income don't have access to these things. So she decided to donate what she had and to ask others for donations. She's making what she calls period packs with the goal of getting a woman through one period event.
This pack will only get a woman through 1 month, but maybe that will just be something. It's something, and it's the best I can do at the moment.
She's taking all the supplies donated and putting them into a gallon plastic bag to distribute to women in need, whether they be homeless or low income.
All right, Jackie, is she only collecting these products, or can others help in other ways?
Yeah, so she's collecting money as well because not everyone is super comfortable donating these types of products. She has $535 right now, which is already over her $500 goal, and she's going to take that money donated and go shopping on Friday to buy everything she can before she distributes the period packs on Saturday, which is also her birthday.
All right, Jackie, thank you very much for that. Some sad news to pass along, especially for those of you in my age bracket who remember seeing this young lady. Penny Marshall starred in Laverne and Shirley before becoming one of the top grossing female directors in all of Hollywood. She passed away today at the age of 75. Marshall's publicist, Michelle Bega, said that she passed away in her Hollywood Hills, California home. This was on Monday because of complications. She had been battling diabetes. Marshall starred along the OG, Cindy Williams, not ours, in the hit Laverne and Shirley, which aired from 1976 to 1983. As a filmmaker, she became the first woman to direct a film that grossed more than $100 million when she directed Big. She also directed A League of Their Own, Jumpin' Jack Flash, and Awakenings. She was a fantastically funny lady, so she will certainly be missed. Yeah. A lot of people get in the spirit of giving this time of year, but we're about to meet one girl who does that year-round thanks to an extremely positive attitude.
And speaking of positive attitudes, Keith's forecast is next. I love how that Purell bottle was empty. Thank you for your help with the question.
Hey, Debbie.
Yeah, Debbie's chiming in on the working waterfront conversation as well. So yeah, any kind of projects that have already been reviewed and given permits for, those will continue. It's not like the cranes are going to come to a screeching halt. Things that were already underway are going to still be underway, but for 6 months, no one can apply for a new permit to develop something new.
I don't know how you feel about this. We haven't discussed this. But as somebody who's from here and, you know, spent my whole childhood down on Commercial Street and my adulthood as well, I mean, I love that it's been developed and that it is what it is, but it really does need to just take a breather. And there's just so much stuff that I'm worried, and I'm not a commercial fisherman that makes my money that way, but I'm worried just about the sanctity of what the waterfront is. I mean, that's kind of the beauty of it, is you can walk out on docks and piers and be on the water, and you can see the fishing boats, and so I don't ever want that to go away. So there has to be, but I certainly understand the entrepreneurial side of, hey, it's great to have all these restaurants and hotels and stuff for people to come in our city. So
one of the questions that I hear time and time again brought up is, if all of that working waterfront goes away, will people still want to come to see that?
Right.
So will the tourism go away too, in turn?
It's part of, I mean, it's a
and thank you so much.
Major part of the charm is that that is an option for you. And it's just not just like every other city that's got hotels and restaurants everywhere with anything else. So.
And if you're going to send a postcard home, if you're visiting Portland, you're likely not going to take a picture of the hotel. You're going to take a picture of what you see out on the water.
Debatable.
Is this your story?
It is. Are you looking forward to it?
I'm really looking forward to this story.
I'm worried about you today.
I know. I don't know what's going on.
You also said that people in New York are getting somewhere between $75,000 and $100,000 each.
Is that what I said?
Yeah, it's just $150.
I don't even. I didn't even realize I said that. Oh my God.
Like, wow, that's quite the settlement. Everybody in New York City.
Oh my God.
150 grand a piece.
I didn't even realize I said that.
That's a Christmas bonus.
Oh my gosh. Should I correct it?
No.
Oh my gosh. Communication comes in many forms: speaking, talking, whispering, shouting. Those are just some examples.
Now imagine not being able to do any of those, but still having the ability to communicate and touch so many people. That is the story of Gabby Millett.
You know, there's some development.
We first introduced you to Gabrielle Millett 18 years ago. She was born with an undetected metabolic disorder that led to her having a stroke when she was just 2 weeks old, and another one about 7 months later. She has a life-threatening illness called propionic acidemia, which at the time about 1 in every 750,000 babies got.
Good morning, Gabby. How are you?
This is Gabby today. The 18-year-old senior at Biddeford High School may be nonverbal, but she certainly has a lot to say with her smile and her hugs.
She inspires us every day, you know, and makes everybody smile. You got a bad day, go see Gabby.
One of Gabby's gifts is giving gifts year-round.
She loves to do crafts, and she comes in with copies of her craft. I mean, anything she makes, she gives away.
I like to give presents. It makes me feel excited.
But for Gabby, Christmas is certainly the most wonderful time of the year.
Thank you, sweetie. I love you. She's so sweet.
November 1st, she comes in and she's dressed for Christmas. She's got the red and white stocking, leggings on, the snowman. All her gifts now are decorated for Christmas. So it's like, you don't have the 12 days of Christmas, we have Gabby's 60 days of Christmas.
I like 60 days of Christmas because it's wonderful and everyone loves it.
Gabby's positive attitude is contagious.
There was a couple of girls from the behavioral program that were, you know, and she walked up and pulled out her gifts. They were all smiles, they gave her hugs, and then they smiled their way back to class. So, yeah, it works. She works.
When I was done asking her questions, Gabby turned the tables on me.
Do you think you were on Santa's good list?
Do I? Definitely.
I have a present for you.
All right, so Gabby got me a gift, and she gave this to me yesterday. I have not opened it. I haven't even looked inside because I wanted to do it today. So this was the present that she gave me yesterday as I qualified for being on Santa's good list. So we have, oh, this looks like it's food.
That's debatable.
All right, this looks like reindeer. Oh, it's like malted milk balls. Okay, so Gabby, all right.
That's so sweet.
Love that. We have, uh-oh. What's going on here? It's like a...
Oh, this is my favorite part of this
Get it upside down there.
Oh, boy.
There you go.
I love it.
She made me
Yes.
It's like that Elf Yourself video.
Oh, yeah. So there it is. This is my Christmas gift.
Oh, Gabby.
Gabrielle. So
That
thank
was
you
so
very
sweet.
much.
Oh my gosh.
Don't even
I'm just going to
touch
keep these
my
over here.
chocolate. No.
No,
you're not on Santa's good list.
I know. Today I
And
was
we
just
already
telling
know the
Keith-
answer to that on you. So.
I know that. I'm trying to be better, and I'm trying to eat healthy going into a new year, and that's, I just want one of those right now. Oh gosh. Does Luca know Baby Shark yet?
No.
He's 8 months old.
I know, but
he's got him listening to Beethoven and Mozart. He's not allowed to listen to that.
Did I tell you when we went into this restaurant when he was 4 months old, and the girl goes, does he want a kid's menu? And I was like, he doesn't eat food? Not yet. All right, let's go. And, oh, wait, we got something else?
No, that's it.
All right. So, Lee's still looking through his present over there. Hey, it was cold today, and the winds were really the killer. 25 in Portland right now, 22 in Freiburg, 22 in Millinocket, and 16 in Rangeley. The winds, though, gusted to almost 40 miles an hour in a lot of spots. Still 33 miles an hour in Bangor, 22 miles an hour in Portland, 23 in Portsmouth. So the combination of that means the wind chill is pretty frigid still. It was in the middle of the day, is right now. It feels like 1 below in Greenville, 9 in Caribou, 14 in Portland, and 15 in Wiscasset. All that to say that our overnight lows will be warmer than this in most spots, but the winds will be a factor till around probably midnight. Then they start to settle down and things feel a little bit warmer. But really, we start moderating through the day on Wednesday. Tomorrow is a sunny day. Temperatures are not mild, but they're around freezing along the coastline, upper 20s inland, and that's enough to make it feel a lot better than it did today. We could get to 35, 36, as you can see, over southern coastal Maine. I like Thursday a lot. I think Thursday gets us to around 40 degrees, mostly sunny, and it's relatively quiet, of course. Wednesday and Thursday, both days look quiet. And this warmer air coming in on Thursday will play a big role for our next storm system, which moves in on Friday. And there's really no question here, after just maybe what might be 30 minutes of sleet and spots, we turn over to all rain. We start really warming up here during the day on Friday into the mid-50s, especially along the coastline. I think it'll get to 50, though, even into the mountains through Friday afternoon. In the middle of the night on Friday, it'll still be in the 50s. And so we've got quite a bit of rainfall that will come through with this storm, up to 2 inches in spots. So the combination of that and snow melt will lead us to some flood concerns on Saturday morning. So we'll keep an eye on that. A lot of it has to do with how we drain and how quickly that rain comes down. But take a look at the current snowpack across the state, and then watch what happens when we start bringing that warmth in and the rain in. It eats away at it tremendously, so such that by Sunday, it's the mountains and foothills that have the snow, and the rest of us are probably pretty much done with that snow. Not done, I'm sorry. It's not spring yet, but we won't have much snow in the ground at that point. All right, our 7-day forecast, not bad, but mild goes with the rain, unfortunately. We don't get mild and sun this time of the year too often. Few snow flurries possible on Christmas Eve. Christmas right now, looking quiet. Not much going on.
You know who's pretty quiet recently? all of a sudden since your forecast
He
started.
looks good though, doesn't he?
Lee, yeah, Lee, you've never looked better.
I've lost some weight. I'm on a diet too.
I like what he did with his hair
I
too.
thinned out a little bit. Yeah.
He's really in the Christmas spirit.
All right. Well,
Lee,
we're gonna
looking
move
good.
on while you guys pick on me.
All right,
over
let's
here.
read the next
don't
story
judge my
together.
looks. Winter hasn't officially started yet, but boots certainly are needed this time of year.
Fresh Eggs Daily sending this picture in. You know you're filming in Maine when you see a lineup of bean boots. This is like what every entryway of every home in Maine statewide looks like about this time of year, doesn't it? Even if it's not bean boots, it's some kind of winter boot.
Yeah, you definitely know it's winter time.
So. Oh, you're back.
What do you mean I'm back? I didn't
you
go anywhere.
look a little different.
Well.
Magic. All right, a lot more coming up on News Center Maine at 5:30. Cindy Williams is here with a preview. Hey, Cindy.
Hi, guys. A couple from New Hampshire is accused of running a sex trafficking ring in hotels and rental homes right here in Maine. In the city of Portland, they appeared in court today. We'll tell you about some of the key dates in their case. Clay Gordon has that. And Ringo, the canine officer, spent 9 years protecting the law. He wound up in an animal shelter, but he is getting some justice now that he's retired. Those stories and more ahead at 5:30. Back to you.
Cindy, thanks so much. Brain drops when we come back.
Yeah.
John says we're all on the good list.
Yeah, John, you need to recheck that.
Paul says.
Yeah, Paul, it was awful.
Yeah, the stroke of two weeks old.
When we did the story 18 years ago, the story was done because at the time the state of Maine only tested for 8 metabolic diseases when you were born. They give a little pinprick to the heel of a baby and they take that blood and they put it on a cardboard and they send it away for metabolic testing. And the state of Maine tested for 8 of them. At the time there were 20 metabolic diseases you could get. So the state randomly tested for 8, not the full 20. Gabby ended up with one of the 12 that didn't get tested for. And her parents ended up, after this happened to her, pushing for legislation so that the state of Maine would now test for all 20, don't leave any of them out, and the state now does because of what happened to Gabby. And if they had done that testing, they would have caught what was wrong with her, and it likely could have been avoided. So it was awful what happened, and it's too bad because it could have been avoided in most likelihood if they had done the testing originally.
Regarding Jackie's story earlier, Jennifer says there's a program in Rockland called One Less Worry, and she included the email address there to contribute to that cause. I love that. That is so cute.
I want to know how she knew I liked malted milk balls.
I love that. I think it is so pretty.
Candy that I wouldn't love, but that's going right over on my secret hiding place.
Slash locked away in his desk under lock and key.
Yes,
the malt balls go. Oh. I didn't know what Baby Shark was until recently, actually.
What?
The Baby Shark song. I didn't know that was like a thing. Did you know that? So we have a little shark toy for Tito and Lucy, and it has all the stuffing ripped out of it, so it's just like a flat shark. It's really sad, actually. But we keep him, and he's our baby shark.
The thing about, like, Luca's not watching any, cartoons or anything yet, so I'll get into it soon. But for now.
Limiting the screen time?
No, it's not even that, honestly. No. It's just like, it's not going to be for him.
Yeah.
Like if I happen to watch football and he's around, that's okay. He honestly isn't that entranced anymore. There was a period of time he was, but now he's like faces and objects. Okay, so this is an interesting tagline, and I knew this, but they've done a little bit more research on it, that organic food is actually not good at all for climate change. Its carbon footprint is tremendous. If we go down a bit here, it makes sense, right? So part of organic farming now, or as it was before, is that you're not using pesticides, you're not kind of juicing up the soil, any of these things. So the yield is a lot less per land mass. So the problem, of course, is that your carbon footprint from deforestation on a organic farming situation is much higher. So it's something, there's all these weird intricacies. You want to eat well, and people generally don't want to eat things that have pesticides, and I get that. The problem ends up that you've got complicating factors here. It's kind of like Leonardo DiCaprio took a lot of heat for, he's a climate advocate, but he flies on a private jet. Okay, so where's that line? Like, he's trying to do a good thing, but is he offsetting his own burden? So food is another one of those. Good news is, if you eat organic chicken, it's still better than eating conventional beef for the climate.
What kind of food is this? Is this a forest?
It's deforestation. Yeah. So the problem, by the way,
she's so
of cutting
hungry,
down.
She wants to eat a tree stump. She's on the tree stump
This is
diet.
Whole 30 for you, by the way.
You won't gain any weight.
Wait, go back up. That's actually, Lindsay, that was lunch, wasn't it? Clay, isn't that what Lindsay had for lunch?
Brought home. He's the hunter and gatherer. He brought her a tree stump.
It has carbs, though, I thought. Lots of carbs.
Oh, my God. New Center Made at 5:30 starts right now. Thank goodness.
Coming up next.
To be honest with you,
You see her, she's like,
I wish that